On-air sports marketing. Time for Arizona's only local sports gambling radio show. Take the Points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Your home for uncensored sports betting opinions, analysis, and advice. The guys have your life covered for all the games. Now, take the Points on Fox Sports 910 and the iHeartRadio app.
Good Saturday morning to you. Mike Gross, Jackson Groff out here at the Sportsbook at Casino, Arizona. Loop 101 in McKellips. Come on out and say hello. Love to see you out here. Big screen TV's fired up. Breakfast is served. And looking forward to a good 2 hours. Jackson, you had a heck of a week. You were out in Glendale for the national championship game on Monday night. Your thoughts? How cool was that, my friend?
Oh, it was an unreal experience. One of those events that as a kid you wanted to go to, but to have the opportunity to cover it and have a media credential and be down on the floor and be able to go to the press conferences, see the locker room, all the emotion and stuff where not a lot of fans can see. It was an unreal experience. Words can't describe how much, it meant for me to be able to do that. And it was sad I missed the last hour of the show, but you guys were in good hands. Kevin, Ray, and you guys did a good job.
Yeah,
so.
we worked it out all right. And very cool that you got to go. And UConn, they're good at basketball.
Oof. Yeah, they're going to reload next year, too. I saw a tweet, and I said it on last Sunday on Twitter at Jackson Groff, but Dan Hurley said the only reason why I want to keep winning is to not have to deal with all the transfer portal stuff. So he had a photo today saying day one of the transfer portal and him laying on the ground. So I thought that was quite hilarious from Mr. Dan Hurley. He lives by the transfer portal, though. You got to think Cam Spencer was a portal guy, and a couple of guys, I think, on the bench that will get more time this year. But they'll reload, they'll rebuild, and they'll probably be back in the Final Four next year.
Yeah, I retweeted your original tweet from him, that comment, that quote that you had from Coach Hurley, and it's true. It's true. You can complain about the transfer portal all you want, but if you're going to be successful, you better figure it out. You better figure out to keep the guys on your roster that you want and figure out how to go out there and find guys that can help you when you're bringing players in. It's a big deal in college football, obviously, but it's a lot more acute in college basketball because the numbers are, they're tight. You lose one or two good players, that really impacts your roster. You bring in an impact player or two, you can reload like the UConn Huskies did. And I just, like I said, complain about it all you want, but it's the law of the land right now, so you got to figure it out.
Yeah, and I think when college basketball is starting to transition into is you're not starting to see those guys that are one and done, the freshmen building around those freshmen. Yeah, there's a couple outliers, but for example, look at Duke. Couple freshman players that went to the NBA, but you also got some veteran guys like Filipowski. Roach might stay another year due to COVID and stuff like that. But for the UConn Huskies, they had two guys from last year. Tristan Newman, who was the most outstanding player in the Final Four last year, had 19 points, had 20 points again in the national championship game. You had Caravan, who had experience. Then you had Klingon off the bench that didn't have a lot of experience because of Adama Saganoga, I think his name was.
Right.
He comes in and balled out this season. And then you get a guy like Cam Spencer from Rutgers, a transfer who is competitive. All he does is basketball. It didn't fit really well. And then you got that last piece, the freshman All-American, McDonald's All-American out of high school, being Stephon Castle, who was more of a defender on that perimeter that really gave Purdue trouble, but could also score on the offensive end. So I think it's a mixture, Gross, of getting transfers, keeping guys to stay and develop, as well as getting some of those freshmen.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, a lot to dive into related to college basketball. One of the things that we will do at the bottom of this hour is head back to Kentucky because a major coaching change. Coach Cal said, you know what? You're going to miss me when I'm gone, right? Lots of success, but just not the success that Kentucky basketball expects. Putting guys in the NBA, huge win totals year in and year out, but just not that University of Kentucky success. So he's like, you know what, deuces, I'm out of here. He head down to Fayetteville, Arkansas to take over a Razorbacks team that is kind of playing second fiddle to a lot of these SEC teams to try to revive that. And then a lot of thought, a lot of conversation, a lot of guessing about which way the Wildcats would go. Coach Drew from Baylor, his name was up there. Other coaches, you floated the idea of Coach Matt Painter from Purdue, but it ended up being one of their own. One of their own. They brought back an alum from BYU. Coach Pope is going to take over the helm of the Kentucky Wildcats. We'll get into that with a friend of the program, Kendrick Haskins from WAVE-TV back there in Kentucky. We usually have him on around the Kentucky Derby, but this is big news. College basketball, love them, hate them. Kentucky basketball is a big part of the men's college basketball scene, and we want to get the first look at that from Kendrick. He was there, and he's been tweeting out about that like crazy. So he's coming up at 11:30 to talk to us about that. Jackson, also college basketball. We put out a Twitter poll at Fox 910 Saturday. I'd love to hear your opinions on this, and you and I will talk about this. But did Zach Edey's performance Monday night in that championship game against UConn help or hurt his draft status? Now, you give the kid a ton of credit, right? Because he, along with his head coach, he was kind of weighed down by the failures the last couple of years, right? He's, what'd you say, 7'4", he's huge, he's dominant, he's a physical presence. But when you're losing to Farley Dickinson, it's not a good look. So he came back, right? He came back to be part of this and got them all the way to the championship game. But now he's ready to move on to the NBA. Where does he fit? But I'm interested specifically. A lot of guys will use the national stage to burst out there and raise their draft stock, whether we're talking about a bowl game in college football or obviously here in March Madness. He had the stage all to himself on Monday night. What did he do, help or hurt himself? So we'll dive into that. I know you've got some mock drafts there in front of you. We'll give our opinions on this poll later on. But just your thoughts on Zach Edey, his performance, and where's he going to end up when the NBA draft happens?
I think he's the first round, late first round, early second. I'd be surprised if he went in the second round, to be honest, because you look at some teams later in the first round draft, like with what the Bucks are going through right now. Not a lot of rebounding. They've got a lot of injuries right now. Maybe a guy like Zach Edey. Imagine Zach Edey paired up with Giannis. That's a big lineup there. But we talked before we got on air how Zach Edey, he's not a guy that you're going to build around. A lot of these guys in this year's draft, maybe some in the top 10 are guys that you're not really going to build around, but he'll be that role player, maybe a guy come off the bench and be kind of the you brought up Robin Lopez, Brooke Lopez, the Jonas Valanciunas of the world. That's kind of where I see Zach Edey. But he did all he could. We talked before on Saturday how it was going to come down to UConn's guards versus Purdue's guards, right? Because UConn was just going to let Edey score. If UConn got in a scoring match with them, you're going to have to hope Edey scores 70 points because UConn was going to do the same. So their guards, obviously, UConn's guards were faster, smarter, quicker. The backdoor cuts and the weak side, pressure that they brought towards Purdue. But I think Zach Edey, I think he benefited. The longer you go on, the less teams that are being viewed on CBS, the less teams that are in the tournament, more eyes on one Zach Edey. I thought he benefited well, and he had a hell of a tournament when it was all said and done.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think your suggestion of Milwaukee is a wonderful one, where he can go and not be expected to save a franchise. Because I look at this kid, he's talented, he's big. Obviously, he'll make a living at the next level, but he's not a franchise changer. He's not a guy that says, like, if you're the Detroit Pistons and you're in that top spot again this year and you're like, let's draft Zach Edey. No, Zach Edey is not going to save the Detroit Pistons. But you put him in a spot like Milwaukee, and, now that Giannis is, I don't want to say he's getting older, but, he's starting to show the fatigue that comes with playing, 82 regular season games and all the postseason. Yeah, you have a guy behind him that you can count on to give you quality minutes and grow behind a guy like that. I think that's a great spot for him, and that would put him mid or latter part of the first round right now, and that feels about right. But it's just interesting watching him, and we talked about that. And you called the guard play in that championship game how important it was going to be, and you watch Edey as that game started. He was like, you were like, this guy's untouchable. He can't miss it. But once it started to ramp up, and you saw a little bit of frustration from him. You saw him start to miss some of those close-in jump hooks or bunnies that he likes, and that's what sparked the question and sparked this Twitter poll for us around that. So we'll get a lot into college basketball. We're going to get into the NBA as Phoenix Suns with a big win last night. They snatched a win from the jaws of defeat at Sacramento last night, a team that's up there in the conversation with them for the play-in tournament. And they wrap up the regular season tomorrow afternoon in the Twin Cities against the Timberwolves. So we'll get into the Suns. We'll get into the NFL draft. Maybe we'll talk a little bit of baseball. Lots to get to on the show today. We will talk Cardinals in hour number 2 as well.
Yeah, the NFL draft. We've got Mr. Alex Clancy joining us at 12:30 from Locked On Cardinals. I'm excited to see what he has. He usually has some strong opinions and some good opinions when it comes to the NFL draft. We're about 2 weeks out, and some rumblings of the Denver Broncos being a team that might want to trade and talk with the Arizona Cardinals. There's been rumors of maybe one Patrick Surtain being involved in the deal. Talented cornerback there from Denver.
You don't make your best deal when you come off so desperate, though.
Oh man, I would love Patrick
like the Broncos.
Surtain, could you imagine Patrick Surtain?
No. But I love that. But if you're sitting there and you take a call from the Broncos, you know they're desperate, and you're too young for this. One of those daytime games on TV where they're higher. No, higher. No, that's like Patrick Surtain. Maybe now we can talk, right? I mean. Hey, look, we'll get into it, but I have if the Cardinals trade out of 4, they need to have 3 first-round picks on this year's draft.
Yeah, whether it's with the Vikings with 11 and 27,
whatever,
or 11, 27 in next year's.
No. It to be this year.
No, what I'm saying is they're going to get 3 first-round picks.
No,
but no. Follow me here. Follow me, Mike Gross.
I'll follow you anywhere.
3 first-round picks. 11, 23, and 27. 27 is already their pick, right?
Correct. Yeah.
I'm saying an additional pick for next year.
Oh, sweeten the pot even more. Desperate.
If it's up for a quarterback, you need 3 first round. If it's with Denver, who only has 1 first-round pick this year, you need 1 first-round pick this year and then 2 the next year and the year after that. Quarterbacks, if you're trading up for a quarterback, it's extra value. To your point, 3 first-round picks, I get that.
Yep.
But you need an additional one if it's with the Vikings.
There we go. I will follow you into draft talk later on in the show. As we do each and every show at this time, Ryan Sirk, our national champion, and his EPL pick of the week. And I don't like to, when we have guests or people that have regular segments, Jackson, unless it's you or Bauer, we don't give each other a hard time. And Ryan gets 1 more week. But we've had back-to-back ties when he's given us EPL picks. So hopefully we break that streak. And I can see that, Americans don't always warm up to European football. That's why. Wait a minute. You got that big match and it ended in a tie? Come on.
That's got to be the worst thing ever. When you bet a soccer match and it ends in a tie, no side wins unless you pick tie.
Yeah, no, unless you pick. You can pick a draw in soccer. We did not do that. All right, our pick of the week from Ryan Sirk. Tomorrow, Arsenal and Aston Villa. We're taking Arsenal minus 1.5 is the pick tomorrow. I like that pick, but I'm a little gun shy. I got to be honest with you. So I'll consider that. It's a game tomorrow morning again. We like Arsenal minus 1.5 tomorrow morning for our EPL pick of the week from our national champion, Ryan Sirk. He's Jackson Groff. I'm Mike Gross. We're out at the CAZ Sportsbook, Casino, Arizona, Loop 101 with Kellops. We step aside here, take care of some business. We'll jump into a little bit more college basketball talk as we lead up to Kendrick Haskins from Lexington, Kentucky at 11:30. We'll be right back on Fox Sports 910.
Take the points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
Coming up Monday at 1 on Rock and Manute with Jimmy B, live from the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. We'll recap the Suns' weekend and will they have played their way in or out of the play-in tournament? That's Monday at 1 on Rock and Manute with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910 and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Get ready for double the fun on the 101. Introducing the Salt River Rewards Program at Casino, Arizona and Talking Stick Resort, the Valley's newest and best. With multiple tiers and endless benefits, we've got something for everyone. Don't miss out on the excitement. Salt River Rewards, the Valley's premier player rewards program, now at Casino, Arizona and Talking Stick Resort. 2 properties, 1 amazing club, offering limitless fun on the 101. Discover the best in the Valley at saltriverrewards.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey, sports fans, celebrate every big game with El Bandito Yankee, an ultra-premium tequila made from 100% Blue Weber agave in the highlands of Jalisco. Their certified additive-free Blanco and Reposado features a unique oxygenation process for a rich smoothness without that tequila burn. It's why they won platinum and gold medals and are now listed as one of the world's top tequilas by Rolling Stone. Head over to your local store, favorite bar, or restaurant in all 7 Barrio Queen locations. Go to elbanditoyankee.com and break out the Bandito with the official tequila of Game Day.
Arizona's largest locally owned A-plus BBB rated towing company is All City Towing. They're always looking to add motivated and competitive team members. Do you fit the bill? If so, head on over to allcitytowing.com/careers for more information.
There's something that binds us all. The constant hunger to improve. The obsession with every detail. And the reward of a custom fitting taking your game to a whole new level. We're all bound by 2 words said by golfers worldwide. Schedule your fitting at Vans Golf Shops. Find your local store at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
Any car dealer in Arizona can compete on price. That's what dealers do. But not many dealers can compete on customer satisfaction. Like Wright Toyota. Make the right choice. Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. Just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard. And online at wrighttoyota.com.
When it comes to men getting a vasectomy, you want to ensure you go to the experts. So call Purely Vasectomies. Purely Vasectomies. They're easy, comfortable, and convenient. They have single appointment options with a same-day consultation and vasectomy. Plus, there are 3 Valley locations. Their experienced specialists take the time to answer all your questions. They offer sedation to keep you comfortable, and most men can return to work next day. Call Purely Vasectomies at 844-NO-SPERM.
Do you ever have a case of the Mondays? You won't if you tune in to Rockin' Manooch with Jimmy B from 1 till 4 as they broadcast live from the CAZ Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar. That's every Monday from Casino, Arizona.
Jenny!
Hey, Jenny!
Jenny, come on in! Steve!
Hey, Steve!
Steve, how you doing?
Meg,
nice to see you. Meg.
Arena Sports Grill. Come on out for the sports, off-track betting, incredible food, and the best daily specials in Scottsdale. Arena Sports Grill, 62nd Street in Bell. We know you.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
It's election time. Make your vote count. Register to vote or check your voter registration by going to arizona.vote. Remember, elections are run at the local level by your friends and neighbors. And there are safeguards in place every step of the way to ensure your vote is counted accurately and securely. For more information and updates, visit arizona.vote, your trusted source of election information. This message is sponsored by the Arizona Secretary of State's office.
Back to Take the Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
Big win for the Phoenix Suns last night, Jackson, as they went to Sacramento and knocked off the Kings. And really, if you look at the Western Conference standings with games, regular season games ending tomorrow, the only thing that's decided is are the Pelicans or the Suns in the play-in game or the play-in tournament. If the Suns and the Pelicans end up tied, the Suns get the tiebreaker over the Pelicans. They won that season series. So it's that simple tomorrow for the Suns. You're at Minnesota, win and you're in. Now, Minnesota, if you look at it, they are still playing for some positioning. We've got a 3-way tie atop the Western Conference. Oklahoma City, Minnesota, Denver, all tied at 56 and 25. So there's a little shuffling there. If you're Minnesota, do you want to avoid someone or do you want to play somebody? You know, you can make your decisions that way. But big game for the Suns tomorrow at the Timberwolves.
Yeah, and it's a tough situation for the Phoenix Suns. 4.5-point underdog at the Timberwolves. Two situations where, one, your opponent is fighting for something as well. The last game, some teams like the Celtics may sit a couple guys because they're getting ready for the playoffs or whatever. But the Timberwolves, like you said, are fighting for that number one seed. And then, you got the Pelicans who are playing the Lakers, and you got to hope the Pelicans lose against the Lakers. It's a home game for the Pelicans, but them too, they're also fighting for a spot.
Yeah.
And then you wonder, the Lakers, are they going to fight to maybe, I guess, end on a good note and not be the 9 seed and just be the 8 seed?
I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot to consider, right? So, the play-in tournament all but set. The teams out of the play all but set, but there is some shuffling that can occur, and that's a tough question if you're the Los Angeles Lakers. Like, you're not going to avoid the play-in, right? So, what do you do with a veteran team? Do you not take that final game and try to win it and let some guys rest and get ready, especially on the road, right? It's a tough conversation to have. But right now, the Suns are in the 7th spot, a game behind the Pelicans. So if they both win, Suns are in the play-in. If they both lose, the Suns are in the play-in. And they need to win and have the Pelicans lose if they're going to avoid that. I don't know. I hear people talk about it. My opinion is, with this team, you want the time off. But there's some people who say, look at what the matchup out of that is going to be. It might be more favorable to play if the 1 through 6 stays the same, and you're in the play-in and play either Oklahoma City or Minnesota, as opposed to avoiding the Nuggets in the first round. Do you want the Nuggets? So there's a lot that goes into it. If you're a head coach trying to figure this out.
Yeah, and it's weird, too. The Suns have won 2 games in a row against the Nuggets at Denver. But the Pelicans, I would favor matchup very well against the Nuggets. The Suns against a team like the Timberwolves or Thunder, not a lot of playoff experience, which for Suns fans out there, you just hope that when the playoffs hit, a different switch flips on for Kevin Durant and for Devin Booker, who have experienced that. But talking about last night's game, I like the fight from the Phoenix Suns. I mean, down 4. Or was it down 4 or 5, I believe, with 1:02 left? That excellent defensive play from Bradley Beal, the layup, and then some critical free throws from KD and Nurkic. All you need is one, and he got one. It was the last one, of course, with the most pressure on the line. But the Phoenix Suns have struggled offensively, but I liked what they've done on the defensive end. And if you're struggling offensively and playing better defense, that offense is going to pick up eventually. I would have loved to see Bol Bol in the game last night. I'm still kind of puzzled why Frank Vogel's back and forth on him. I think he's a great player, good guy off the bench. But when all your starting 5 is in double figures and you can hold guys like Sabonis and D Fox down the stretch when you're up 1, I thought it was impressive for the Phoenix Suns last night.
Yeah, it was. And you look at it, and you mentioned Bradley Beal. You
called it last week. You talked about Kevin Ray.
And I asked Kevin Ray that, and when somebody of the stature of Kevin Ray says, "Hey, that's a good question," or whatever he said,
makes you feel good.
But Bradley Beal was the man in Washington, right? You look at the numbers he put up; they're ridiculous. But they didn't need that here. And so, for a guy who's been in the league as long as he's been in the league and is used to playing the way he plays, to be able to switch gears and to come in and switch gears through the season, right? Because the way he's playing now is a lot different than what he was playing when the season started. And that might go back to that whole chemistry. It just doesn't happen by playing together. You got to look at it. You've got to figure it out. You've got to adjust on the fly. And credit to Bradley Beal, because he's a big part of why they are where they are, and not even lower in the standings right now. Because, again, we talked about this, ad nauseum at the beginning of the season. When the numbers came out, what's the over-under? What's the win total for the Suns? And we struggled a little bit out of the gate. So are you like, hey, are we worried in November? No, we're not worried in November. Are we worried in December? No, we're not worried in December. But here we are. And we're talking about the play-in or avoiding the play-in for the Suns with 1 game remaining in the regular season.
I want to talk about the Eastern Conference real quick, Gross, because I think it's quite interesting. At the top, you got the Boston Celtics. Obviously, they've clinched a playoff berth for about 2 months now. And then the Bucks at 2. Can't really figure out what's going on with the Milwaukee Bucks right now. I mean, the 2 seed on paper, but could easily, if they get lined up with the 76ers that first round, with Joel Embiid coming back, could get upset the first round.
And I think you buried the lead on that. The Celtics are 14 games 14 games ahead of the Bucks in second spot. That to me is, on the one hand, incredible, but on the other hand, if I'm a Celtics fan, a little nerve-wracking because you talk about flipping switches, right? And I don't want to say they're coasting into the playoffs because they're 6-4 in their last 10, so they're playing. You mentioned it, though. They have the luxury of load management, even though fans hate that term. But I would be more than a little nervous if I'm the Celtics. Maybe not in that opening round, but it's hard to flip a switch to go from that to where you are if you were in the West, where you got 3 teams tied for that top spot. But no, you're right. The Bucks are the same way. You look at them, 49-32, and down below them, you could see some danger zones. And I think the Sixers are right there on that list if you're a Bucks fan and worried about, where could a surprise come from.
The Celtics, the only thing I worry about the Celtics is, one, I don't know what type of team I'm going to get, whether motivation, and I guess when the playoffs come, they're going to get more motivation and more fire, but they're so reliant on the three-point shot, which if they're on from 3, they're shooting 45, 50% from 3, they can beat anybody. But to shoot 16 of 42, 42 threes in one game is absurd, especially in the NBA against 100%. The Knicks. They were down as much as 25 points to the New York Knicks. So you wonder what type of team you're going to see from the Boston Celtics. But I think the Eastern Conference is going to be interesting. You got a lot of dog teams, a lot of underrated teams like the Magic, the Pacers, the Sixers. But definitely a conference where not a lot of people know. And same with the Western Conference. You've got the Thunder, Timberwolves, Nuggets at the top, and a team like the Mavericks who have been hot of recent. So I think the NBA playoffs will definitely be something interesting that I'm looking forward to watching next week.
Oh, it's going to be fascinating. And as we said, we've got one game, as a Suns fan, one regular season game to go. Next week at this time, we'll be talking about playoffs. We're going to step aside, switch gears back to college basketball, head to Kentucky. Big coaching change in the college ranks, and we'll dive into that next right here on Fox Sports 910.
Take the Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, continues next.
I see it, thank
Fox
you.
Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
Whether you're looking for a bay window awning over a breakfast nook, a shade sail or structure in your home or business, a retractable awning for your patio, or roll curtains for your screen room, the House of Canvas and Fine Wrought Iron has what you need. Beat the heat this summer and get covered by Arizona's #1 rated shade experts. Visit thehouseofcanvas.com. House of Canvas, family owned and making shady deals in the Valley for over 40 years. That's thehouseofcanvas.com.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. At BKD's, we're the destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the Valley. Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, BKD's Backyard Joint, where every day is game day.
There's something that binds us all. The constant hunger to improve. The obsession with every detail. And the reward of a custom fitting taking your game to a whole new level. We're all bound by 2 words said by golfers worldwide. Schedule your fitting at Vans Golf Shops. Find your local store at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
Enter for a chance to win G2G protein bars for an entire year. Text G2G to 59925. You'll receive a confirmation text. Standard message and data rates apply. Text G2G to 59925. G2G protein bars. Fresh, healthy, and delicious. Now available at Costco.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. Where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Investing in a high-quality misting system from Fogco will be the coolest decision you ever make for your home patio, pool area, or commercial property. Fogco, the Valley's original manufacturer of high-pressure fog systems, is one of the pioneers in the misting industry for over 35 years. Let Fogco transform your outdoor living and entertainment areas into a cool and soothing tropical showcase. If you're looking for quality, reliability, and value, get a free quote at fogco.com. That's FOGCO.com.
Do you ever have a case of the Mondays? You won't if you tune in to Rockin' the Nooch with Jimmy B from 1 till 4 as they broadcast live from the CAZ Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar. That's every Monday from Casino, Arizona.
Hey, it's Dom with Venezia's Pizzeria. You know us for delicious family dinners and huge party pizzas. But did you know we are great at feeding a large group too? Our full catering menu has a ton of variety, so everyone will find something they love. And the best part? We don't charge per head. Just tell us how many people you need to feed, and we'll handle the rest. Check out our catering menu at Venezias.com. That's Venezias.com.
Kendrick is ready.
A family and catering tradition.
In this week's Marketers Report, Angela Zepeda, CMO Hyundai Motor America, discusses measuring audio.
The measurement capability within audio, I think, surprised all of us. We have seen a huge return on our investment. Seeing real numbers has helped us continue to invest.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the data, audiences, and influencers you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for is finally here. It's Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jeff Dye back in the ring for an all-new season of the Wrestling with Freddie podcast.
That's right, Freddie. Get ready as we highlight the most jaw-dropping matches, dissect the fiercest feuds, and uncover the latest trends in the world of...
And we wait to hear from you, the Federation. Without you guys, none of this is possible. Listen to Wrestling with Freddie on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Back to Take the Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, exclusively on Fox Sports 9 CAZ.
Welcome back in. Mike Gross, Jackson Groff with you from the CAZ Sportsbook. Glad you could spend part of your Saturday with us. And college basketball crowned their champion Monday of last week, but the offseason in college basketball is getting like some of the professional sports, Jackson, as a big-time change at the University of Kentucky. And to help us break this down, I think we can call him a friend of the program. He's usually good when we call up and say, hey, let's talk about the Derby. But obviously college basketball front and center from WAVE TV back there, it's Kendrick Haskin. Kendrick, it's Mike and Jackson in Phoenix. How are you today?
I'm doing great at a vintage festival in town today.
There we go. That's what
It's just a bunch of people selling a bunch of old junk.
Yeah. Hey, you heard me say, like, you know, this was a seismic change in college basketball, and obviously UK faithful not happy with the way their seasons have been ending recently, but it's not like they've been completely devoid of success, right? This is a team that wins a lot of games. They're always in the conversation. They're putting guys in the NBA at the highest level, but they're just not winning a championship. And it seems like Coach Cal said, you know what? You're going to miss me when I'm gone, so see you later. I mean, how surprised were you when that story broke?
I was stunned because after they lost to Oakland, a whole lot of the fan base was about ready to move on from Cal anyway. And so he had a meeting with Mitch Barnhart, and then they came out and did a joint interview together. This was just like a couple of weeks ago. They did a joint interview together on their UK television show. And everything seemed fine. So, you know, you're just like, okay, he's not going anywhere. You just moved on. And then Sunday, like early Sunday afternoon, I just saw a random tweet that said Cal to Arkansas. And I was like, this is nothing. I didn't pay any attention to it. I'm off that day, just not paying attention.
Right.
6 hours later, I just happened to just check my phone. And I was like, oh, my goodness, this is built deep. And then they say, you know, Cal said it to Arkansas. Yeah, it was a wild couple of days because it happened Sunday night. But then Monday, it goes completely dark because they didn't want to do anything during the national championship. So naturally, you know, fans and people were like, oh, this wasn't happening. This isn't happening. When we all knew it was really going to happen. So then he comes out with that video on Tuesday to confirm it. And the next thing we know, he's doing whoop kick too.
Wow. Kendrick Haskins with us talking about the coaching change at the University of Kentucky. Coach Calipari on to Arkansas, where he replaced Eric Musselman, who did a similar, though not nearly as big a move when he left Arkansas to go to Southern California. So Coach Cal leaves Kentucky, and, you know, if you dig deep into it, his feelings are hurt maybe or whatever. You can kind of understand why he wants to get away. Arkansas as the landing spot. How did that hit you when that came out?
Well, he always had that long-standing friendship with John Tyson, with the Tyson Chicken Corporation. Mm-hmm. And so that part of their relationship wasn't that big a surprise, but it did kind of feel like he just basically just took the first first train leaving town because I felt like even though they had that joint interview, I felt like it was only going to last another year anyway. So I kind of, at the end of the day, I wasn't too totally surprised that he left, but it was, where else was he going to go? Because I don't think he really wanted to go to the NBA. And so I think that was just the next best thing.
Yeah, when it came out with him and all the Arkansas gear, it doesn't look normal. It's definitely going to be something to take some time to get used to. But Mark Pope, new head coach for Kentucky. What's the buzz around that? Again, this is a guy from BYU, kind of transformed the program there at BYU. Not a sexy pick, but he's a former grad of one Kentucky. Your thoughts about the Mark Pope hire, and what should fans, I guess, in Kentucky expect from one Mark Pope?
I think it's a great hire. If you watch his teams play, they're high energy. They're closer to what they saw under Patino than under Cal. They're high energy, shoot a ton of threes. So they're going to be fun to watch. Now, the initial reaction from the fan base was not good because, let me be honest, they're an arrogant fan base, so they thought they were going to get Dan Hurley. I'm like, why on earth would somebody leave a repeat champion to go to Kentucky? Why would they do that? And so then they got on to Scott Drew. It sounded like Scott Drew was going to be a done deal. Then he changed his mind, which honestly, I kind of think the fan base there had something to do with that too. It's because this is how crazy it got. I don't know how much attention you all paid to it. So he put out a picture at a restaurant with a Baylor booster. The Kentucky fans somehow found out what restaurant that was in Texas and was calling that restaurant. Don't know how they figured it out. There was no signage or anything, but they figured it out. And I really and truly, I think that may have scared him off, to be honest with you. And so they were expecting a big name. They was really into Billy Donovan. And when it came out, Mark Pope, the initial reaction was not good. But yesterday, kind of after they had a chance to sleep on it, it felt like they kind of started warming up to the idea. Then started remembering how goofy Mark Pope is, or how much fun it's going to be when he's there. And so I think they kind of softened their stance over the last couple of days.
Kendrick, I always find the timing of things to be insane. And when people start to connect dots and connect stuff that no one thought of, on 3 Sports reporting yesterday that Reed Sheppard, who was the iconic player of this year, freshman all-star for Kentucky, his father actually was roommates with Mark Pope, which you know. Any speculation or are these rumors starting to come true that Kentucky's preparing for an NIL package to try to keep Reed Sheppard? Is he going to go to the NBA? I know he's projected top 10, but what are you hearing about one Reed Sheppard potentially returning for the Kentucky Wildcats?
Yeah, we're definitely hearing that they're going to put an NIL package together for him. If you're in Kentucky, Reed Sheppard is on a lot of commercials as it is. And it's funny because he's not the most energetic person in the world when it comes to speaking. He's a great kid, but he's just not extremely charismatic. But they're going to put together a deal. Now, will he take it? I don't know. If it were me, I wouldn't because I think he's a top 10 pick in the draft, and I think a lot of it is because of the draft this year. And you know how it is. When a kid gets picked apart a lot. And so I kind of think because defensively he has his struggles staying in front of players. He's great. He's great getting steals. He's got extremely quick hands, but he gets blown by a lot. And so I think if it were me, if he would ask me, which he never would, I would tell him to go. But he's got the loyalty. His dream was to play for Kentucky basketball. His dad, his mom both played basketball at Kentucky, so you can understand the sentimental part. But I would go if I were him.
Couple more minutes with Kendrick Haskins. He's the new sports director at WAVE TV in Louisville, Kentucky. And, just kind of a 50,000-foot view of college basketball there in the Bluegrass State. Obviously, we've been talking about Kentucky and, what lack of success means to them. Right there in your own backyard, Louisville, man, they have bottomed out. They also have a new coach in Pat Kelsey. Just for the listeners out here in Arizona that maybe don't appreciate the stature or esteem that college basketball is held in there, how hard has the last couple of years been for college basketball fans in the state of Kentucky?
It's been brutal. Kentucky has been had their struggles, even though they've had great talent and they've had games where they've been fun to watch. But they haven't been winning in March, and then Louisville hadn't even been playing in March.
Yeah.
So it's been tough. And when they hired Kenny Payne, I was a big fan of the hire just because I've known Kenny Payne for a little bit. He's a great person. But I was skeptical of the hire. I'm like, okay, you're going to hire somebody who's never been a head coach in this pressure cooker around here. But with everything that's going on, from Patino leaving, the way he left, and then the whole Chris Mack thing and how he left, and then everything that was just going on, swirling around the program, and you bring in a coach that doesn't have much experience, and also is not the most charismatic person in the world either. It was going to be difficult. And then 12 wins in 2 years it's hard to sell that.
Yeah.
They went 12-52 in his tenure here, and that doesn't even include the 2 losses he had next division play. And so it's been tough. And you go to the games. I mean, I was here when they won the championship at 13. The KFC Yum Center was packed every game.
Yep.
And to see attendance at like 5,000 to 8,000 at these games is just brutal to watch.
Yeah. Kendrick, as always, good stuff. Appreciate the insight and helping us understand a little bit what's going on back there in the Bluegrass State. We really appreciate your time today. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thanks. Stop me anytime.
Absolutely. That's Kendrick Haskins from WAVE-TV in Louisville, Kentucky. Jackson helping us break down a little bit what's going on in the basketball crazy state of Kentucky.
Yeah, it's cool to hear the perspective about Reed Shepherd being a bunch of commercials as well. You don't really get that over here being in Arizona, but I mean, if they can keep a guy like him, it's a good leader for the program next year. Maybe you can sway some guys in the portal to come to Kentucky, but if not, I think Mark Pope's one of those guys that he'll transform the program. It might take some time. He's not a sexy pick, but he might have to win over his fan base pretty quickly to get some of those guys, the NIL and transfers in there for the following years.
And I think it's going to be a little bit of a sea change where you're not going with 5 high school All-Americans that are one and done. You might need to do what some of these teams that have seen success in the NCAA tournament and find those guards that'll stay for 2, 3, 4 years, right, and help you build a little stability in your program. Interesting, though. It's interesting, and I just think, it just shows the pressure. It's not always about money, right, because nobody's making more money in college basketball than John Calipari.
No.
But the pressure that goes with it in a tight-knit community, and to say, you know what, I'm done. Like, you don't appreciate what we've done here. I'm done. I'm going to Arkansas.
So it's funny how sportsbooks already have odds for certain situations, and they have odds right now they call them the John Calipari specials. Arkansas versus Kentucky next year in men's basketball. The odds for Kentucky to win at home against Arkansas when John Calipari comes and returns to Kentucky for the first time, -162. If you think Arkansas is going to be Kentucky in that first game in Kentucky in Rupp Arena, +125. I thought that was pretty interesting there. And then they've got the vice versa with Kentucky as an underdog at Arkansas. I thought it was funny.
Very, very interesting stuff. And,
that game's not until December, probably.
Right.
Or January.
We don't know when the game is the point, and they've already got a line on it. And we don't know what the rosters are.
Yeah, we have no. Yeah, that's what John Calipari said. He said, I met with the team, and there was no team.
Yeah.
Thought that was funny.
All right, we'll step aside here. More on the other side on Fox Sports 910.
Take the point.
Clear.
Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app. This is The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Ron Parker.
Fans now don't care about the result more than they care about their own pocket. It started with fantasy football. When did the NFL take off?
Fantasy football.
Fantasy football. It's not that people didn't like football. They didn't love it like they like it now.
With Chris Broussard and Ron Parker. Monday at 4 on your smart speaker. Say play Fox Sports 910.
Choosing the right lawyer after a car wreck is important. You need to consider the law firm's experience, results, and reputation. Lerner Rowe stands above other law firms when it comes to experience and results, helping over 150,000 people recover billions of dollars for their injuries. When it comes to reputation, we have thousands of 5-star reviews, and year after year, we have been voted best personal injury law firm in Arizona. Call us today and let us put our experience, proven results, and reputation to work for you.
Lerner Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-190.
Do you ever have a case of the Mondays? You won't if you tune in to Rockin' Manooch with Jimmy B from 1 till 4 as they broadcast live from the CAZ Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar. That's every Monday from Casino, Arizona.
When it comes to men getting a vasectomy, you want to ensure you go to the experts. So call Purely Vasectomies. Purely Vasectomies. They're easy, comfortable, and convenient. They have single appointment options with a same-day consultation and vasectomy. Plus, there are 3 Valley locations. Their experienced specialists take the time to answer all your questions. They offer sedation to keep you comfortable, and most men can return to work next day. Call Purely Vasectomies at 844-NO-SPERM.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. At BKD's, we're the destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the Valley. Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, BKD's Backyard Joint, where every day is game day.
There's something that binds us all. The constant hunger to improve. The obsession with every detail. And the reward of a custom fitting taking your game to a whole new level. We're all bound by 2 words said by golfers worldwide. Schedule your fitting at Vans Golf Shops. Find your local store at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
Investing in a high-quality misting system from Fogco will be the coolest decision you ever make for your home patio, pool area, or commercial property. Fogco, the Valley's original manufacturer of high-pressure fog systems, is one of the pioneers in the misting industry for over 35 years. Let Fogco transform your outdoor living and entertainment areas into a cool and soothing tropical showcase. If you're looking for quality, reliability, and value,
the hard out is at 5616.
That's FOGCO.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Get ready for double the fun on the 101.
All right, I'm sorry, correction. The outro starts at 56:15, then you'll have the little bit of
newest and best.
1 minute
With
music.
multiple tiers and endless benefits, we've got something for everyone. Don't miss out on the excitement. Salt River Rewards, the Valley's premier player rewards program, now at Casino, Arizona and Talking Stick Resort. 2 properties, one amazing club, offering limitless fun on the 101. Discover the best in the Valley at saltriverrewards.com.
They're modern-day con artists, and they're the focus of Creating a Con, a true crime anthology podcast. Season 1 spotlights Ray Trapani and his tech startup scam, endorsed by DJ Khaled and Floyd Mayweather, and built on empty promises and millions from bilked investors.
If someone's like, oh, what's your best way of making money? I don't think start a business. I'm like, oh, we should start some sort of scheme. And I can't help it.
Listen to Creating a Con on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Creating a Con.
Life is full of bright moments, but sometimes those moments can seem too far away. Trained and caring crisis specialists in Arizona can assist you with any situation, big or small. Free and confidential help is only 1 text away, day or night. Text the word HOPE to 4HOPE. That's HOPE to 44673. These moments matter, and so do you. This message is sponsored by Solari Crisis and Human Services.
And take the poll. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
Thanks again to Kevin Hampton. Wave TV back in Louisville, Kentucky. Appreciate him coming on with us today.
Gross, you need to bring up that question again. You just asked me right before we got on the air.
So we're looking at the scoreboard for the Masters. Scotty Scheffler has moved into the lead, birdied hole #1 today, and he's all alone, 1 shot clear of Max Homa and Bryson DeChambeau. My question to you, Jack, since I believe you have money on Scotty Scheffler to win the Masters, do you ever look – we can say specifically about Scotty Scheffler, or just in general, because you, my friend, are a machine and have lots of balls in the air at any given time. Do you ever review your bets that are in progress, and if your app gives you the opportunity to cash out? You bet $5 to win 25, but right now they're saying, oh, maybe I'll give you 13 or 15 or 16. Do you ever cash out, or do you always see it?
Personally, I never do, because then you always wonder what if, and if that person start to get on a run and you end up winning the tournament, and you're like, damn, that end result. But there are some instances where you do get greedy, and that one particular person or team does not win. But for a guy like Scotty Scheffler, and folks, I'll place just $2 bets. And I've got currently all three of the guys right now, Scheffler, Homa, and DeChambeau. So for me personally, I don't think I'm going to cash out because I got all three chances. But you've got a guy like Ryan Fox, who's 3 under through just 4 holes today, 4 under overall. It's kind of creeping up there. But I think this is Scotty Scheffler's to lose. I mean, with his right now with his wife that could be in labor as soon as right now, or it could be a couple weeks from now. That does scare you as a bettor or even a fan of the sport who wants to see Scotty Scheffler win. But I think most likely a guy like Scotty Scheffler, who is used to winning these tournaments, who's used to being a driver receiver, to come back, and him being a group ahead of Max Homa and DeChambeau too. I like my chances with Scotty Scheffler, who I'm in Sportsbook right now. Let me look real quick, Mike Gross. As we talk about the Masters, and I'll get this pulled up in here it is. He's minus 115. And last night he was plus 125. He comes with a buddy there, minus 115. DeChambeau's live odds plus 550, and Max Homa plus 800. So the sports books think it's Scotty Scheffler, but again, round 3, as you know, in golf, moving day, still more golf to come on.
Well, and I get what you're saying with the 3 that you're riding in this Masters, where you've got them sitting 1, 2, 3.
But for you have Scotty Scheffler only.
Right. So if you look, my question is going to be more of a follow-up. If you're looking at that, let's say you've got, 2 of those 3 at John Rahm right now, where John Rahm is not going to win the Masters this year. Barely made the cut, and he's sitting down in 34th place, plus 5. So he's, 11 shots behind Scotty Scheffler, and 12 shots behind Scotty Scheffler, and 11 shots behind Homa and DeChambeau. Do you ever say, all right, let's just clear off whatever's left there and, put that money to work? Or do you just know whatever you bet, you bet? And don't look in the rearview mirror.
It depends on who. Like, I talked to Rock about this the other day, and he usually cashes out early because he wants to either double or triple his money and get out of there. He doesn't really want to have to worry about it, which I respect either side. But I guess it's preference, how many guys you have bet on at the top there. But I wanted to bring up real quick Tiger Woods. I mean, what he did yesterday, 24 consecutive cuts of the Masters, a new record. Unfortunately, he's 5 over through 8 holes. He just had a stretch of bogey and 2 double bogeys. So, ease off there, and his age and maybe his leg is starting to get into account. Or his back, him being old. But it's cool to see him there at the Masters. That's something, he talked about yesterday, winning the Masters multiple times. Something you can't take away from him is being able to play in there. Guys like Freddie Couples and seeing Phil Mickelson, even though they're not performing their best, seeing them at the Masters is good for golf. But it's crazy yesterday. All the win gusts, about 6 over is the winning score to get and to make the cut is pretty abnormal. Seeing all these guys, like 1 over right now will get you top 20.
The wind yesterday was just howling. I think it was Tiger Woods when they had a camera on him walking by one of the sand traps, and it looked like a Phoenix dust storm, a haboob. Like the wind was so strong it was literally lifting the dust out of the trap and blowing it across the fairway. And I was watching the Masters, the kind of the pre-match stuff this morning, and they had a camera on Tiger at the range, getting ready to loosen up and get ready to play. And it was the strangest thing because you watch Tiger and you know how put together he is, right? The Sunday red and black, and he's just a very, very put together golfer when you watch him on the course. They had his caddy lifted up his shirt and took the towel, and it looked like they had those. What are those those things that?
Oh, those KT.
Yes,
yeah, the KT.
His back was taped up, and it was either that or some sort of brace. But it seemed like Tiger's like, hey, can you make sure this stuff is connected so when I start sweating or whatever, it doesn't come loose. So that just shows you the physical challenge that Tiger's having to get ready to play today, or play for this entire tournament, of course, but get ready to play in today's 3rd round.
It's cool. A guy like Tiger Woods making the cut. And I think it's crazy the timing of his round and how it was Thursday. He ends up playing, 13 holes and having to play 23 yesterday. And that gust of wind, that sand picked up on the last hole when they were on the green. That wind did not stop the entire day. Guys like DeChambeau and guys who did not make the cut, the Wyndham Clarks, the Justin Thomas, Harmon, Victor Hovland, Sam Burns, Jordan Speed, Dustin Johnson, all guys who were top 20 in the odds to win it all, not making the cut because of the win. You're starting to see guys shoot 80, 85 yesterday.
Crazy.
So it's pretty remarkable, like this tournament and the conditions. But again, at the top, you got Scotty Scheffler, Max Homa, and Bryson DeChambeau. I think it's a pretty set, loaded lineup, which I'm excited to see how this tournament, ends up today and tomorrow.
And just to touch back on your Scotty Scheffler comment, in case you missed it, as the tournament was getting underway, Scotty Scheffler made the point that if his wife goes into labor, he's done. And so I think that was coloring some of the numbers for Scotty Scheffler in terms of why the buyout question came up, number one, and where his numbers kind of hover around just because that's unknown. The deeper he gets into the tournament, the less and less that becomes a factor.
Hold it in, Meredith. Hold it in for 2 more days.
Going to do it for our number one. He's Jackson Groff. I'm Mike Gross. Number 2 coming up right here on Fox Sports 910.
Clear.
Take the points. Sponsored on Sports Marketing.
Ready for double the fun on the 101. Introducing the Salt River Rewards Program at Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort, the Valley's newest and best. With multiple tiers and endless benefits, we've got something for everyone. Don't miss out on the excitement. Salt River Rewards, the Valley's premier player rewards program at Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort. 2 properties, 1 amazing offering limitless fun on the 101. Discover the best in the Valley at saltriverrewards.com.
Hey, it's Dom with Venezia's Pizzeria. You know us for delicious family dinners and huge party pizzas. But did you know we are great at feeding a large group too? Our full catering menu has a ton of variety, so everyone will find something they love. And the best part? We don't charge per head. Just tell us how many people you need to feed, and we'll handle the rest. Check out our catering menu at venezias.com. That's venezias.com. Venezias, a family and catering tradition.
With Progressive Insurance, we make it easy to save money. When you bundle your auto policy with home, condo, or renters, you will earn a multi-policy discount. Easy to bundle, easy to save. Visit progressive.com.
If spring allergies keep you trapped inside, then you need Navage Nasal Care to keep you breathing clearly and enjoying all the beauties of spring. Navage helps clear nasal passages that are often clogged because of seasonal allergies. Navage gently flushes a pure, refreshing saline solution through your nasal passages to clear out congestion, sucking out that springtime pollen and other irritants trapped in your nose. Navage is available online at navage.com or in stores at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, and Target. Navage, Navage.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you right now, like Alt2K, a commercial-free look back to alternative from the 2000s. Just search Alt2K and listen now on your free iHeartRadio app. iHeartRadio. Free never sounded so good.
Oh boy, take your base. The only thing worse than a pitcher running out of gas on the mound is your old phone running out of storage for your photos in the stands. Verizon can get a great deal on a new iPhone 15 Pro with tons of storage for all the ballpark picks you want. Just trade in your iPhone, any model, in any condition, so you'll feel like you're winning, even when your team's not. Trade in any iPhone in any condition for a great deal on iPhone 15 Pro with unlimited Ultimate and all the storage you need. Get the network you want on the iPhone you love, only on Verizon.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Phoenix.
It's moving day at the Masters, and the leaders have just got their rounds going. Scotty Scheffler birdied the first hole, so he currently has the solo lead at 7 under par, currently holding a 1-shot advantage over Max Homa and Bryson DeChambeau. Colin Morikawa is -2 for his round so far today, and he is pushed into now 2 back of the lead. Tiger Woods struggling today. He is 5 over for his round and now +6 for the tournament. In baseball, the Braves announced pitcher Spencer Strider had surgery to repair the UCL in his throwing elbow. He will miss the rest of the season. On the field, the Yankees trying to close out the Guardians. They lead 3-2 in the 9th inning. Tigers on top of the Twins 3-2 in the 8th. Royals on top of the Mets 8-4 in the 4th. In the NBA, The Athletic reports former Bucks coach Mike Budenholzer is among the finalists to be the next head coach of the Nets. I'm Nick Cope.
Breezy and warm for your Saturday. We'll top out around 89 degrees overnight. Fair skies and 59. And for your Sunday, still a breezy day. Not quite as warm. Sunny, though. The high, 82. For the Fox 10 weather experts, I'm Corey McCloskey.
Arizona's only local sports gambling radio show. The Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Your home for fun, sports opinions, analysis, and advice. The guys have you covered for all the games. Now, take the points on Fox Sports 910 and the iHeart Radio app.
Hour number 2. Gross Jackson Golf out at the CAZ Casino, Arizona. Loop 101 of McKellips. Jasmine back in studio today. Bowers got the day off.
He always has the day off.
He does always have the day off, but we'll hold it down and look forward to the next hour or so, Jackson, as the big screen's fired up here. We got the Masters going. We got baseball on. What else we got? Some NHL hockey down there as the Rangers and the Islanders do battle. We talked about the NBA closing in on the postseason. That is the case in the NHL as well. Coming up in this hour at 12:30, I believe, we will talk some NFL draft, take a look at the Cardinals. You and I can continue our conversation around if the Cardinals are going to trade out of 4, what do they need to get in return? And starting caliber cornerback, that gets my attention anyways.
Oh, my goodness. Patrick Surtain, one of the best corners in the league, up for trade rumors if the Broncos feel they can get a guy like J.J. McCarthy, or they feel like, a Drake May, or maybe even a Jet. I think James Daniels will still pass 3, but maybe it's the first and kind of beat the Giants, who are that team that, Daniel Jones and he got hurt, and maybe one of those overrated contracts that they got, maybe they don't feel to get another quarterback. They've got to jump them at 6. Go 4.
Fascinating. On one hand, Jackson, you've got to answer the phone when it rings if you're Monty Ossenfort, right? You've got to take the call. And I don't know how much attention the general manager pays to the fan base. I mean, I know he doesn't when it comes to the pick, but there is such a groundswell of anticipation, I'll call it, that the Cardinals stay at 4 and draft Marvin Harrison Jr. And on the one hand, I get it, right? Because this fan base had Larry Fitzgerald. They were blessed with Larry Fitzgerald's football career, right? And so there have been people that said it, and I think this is entirely unfair to Marvin Harrison Jr. This is the next Larry Fitzgerald. That's unfair, but I get it.
Yeah, when you go to Ohio State and when your dad's Marvin Harrison and what he did at Ohio State builds a lot of pressure, to your point. But the sports books right now, DraftKings has Marvin Harrison Jr. minus 175 to be the number 4 pick, with J.J. McCarthy at plus 175. Then you look at a sports book like FanDuel, they've got him at minus 200 being Marvin Harrison Jr. with J.J. McCarthy at plus 400. So it's kind of crazy how 2 sports books have completely different odds for the NFL draft. That tells me they don't know what's going to happen at 4.
And it is, like I said, if you're Monty Ossenfort, you've got to answer the phone. And if somebody dangles a Patrick Surtain in front of you plus picks, then you've got to seriously consider it, don't you?
So if it's Surtain, then you probably would take a step back and maybe want another 2 first-round picks instead of 3, because you got a guy in Patrick Surtain. I think it's going to be his last year on his deal, his rookie deal. One of the top corners in the league, and you've been vying for a corner. You haven't seen a starting corner, a dominant corner, since Patrick Peterson in his early days. I think you go for it. You got to take that chance in getting a guy who's already proved it in the league as a number 1 corner. You still probably draft a corner, maybe in the 2nd round, maybe 3rd, but you wouldn't have to waste a first-round pick. Not waste a first-round pick, sorry. You wouldn't have to use a first-round pick on a cornerback, and you could maybe supply other positions like a wide receiver at 11, or even like what Monty Ossenfort likes to do, trade down and trade back up, get a guy like Roma Dunze or Malik Neighbors that could slip there, and then later in the 2nd round, get yourself a nice tackle, edge rusher, defensive lineman.
Patrick Surtain is under contract this year at a base salary of just over $1 million.
Wow.
And there is a fifth-year option available that escalates that contract up to $19.8 million. I would imagine if you're the Cardinals and you're seriously consider that, you have conversations around what's it going to take to redo this guy's deal so that you don't run the risk of losing him, because essentially then you lose that first-round pick if he disappears after his contract is up. So interesting, but you're right. He's got one more year on that deal. And get a player of his caliber at that number, I think, is something you would have to seriously consider. Though, again, I understand the groundswell of support locally to don't answer the phone. Draft Marvin Harrison Jr. and then figure the rest of it out after that.
And then we always talk about all these top quarterbacks.
Yes.
There's still quarterbacks that are in question, being Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr. I still think are two great quarterbacks, played each other multiple times in the Pac-12. Michael Penix Jr. going all the way to the national championship game, stellar performance in his pro day. He's had individual workouts, individual dinners with the Vikings. So the Vikings, a team and they've said recently too that they want to try to keep both their first round picks this year. They're a team that I'm intrigued by that maybe says, hey, we want to stay at 11. We want to get a Michael Penix Jr., a guy that can air it out to our best receiver being Justin Jefferson. And then maybe a guy like the Raiders, team like the Raiders that wants a veteran guy. He's, 23, 24 years old, being Michael Penix and Bo Nix. And I thought Bo Nix was going to be a guy for the Broncos. But with all this rumor talk, they might be intrigued by J.J. McCarthy.
Or maybe it is talk. And if you look at the Broncos to go a rookie quarterback and then kind of pull your defense apart, doesn't that send a message that, you're looking at an extended rebuild, right? And there's already a ton of pressure on Sean Payton after his handling of the team and the handling of Russell Wilson. And why not sit tight, keep Patrick Surtain, draft Bo Nix at 12? It might be a little bit of a reach based on where you look at the mock drafts, but you need a quarterback. And then, keep that defense intact. I don't know. To me, it's such a roll of the dice if you're the Broncos. I get it. But if you're Sean Payton, you might not be around to see this guy develop and play.
Yeah, but I mean, they traded him for you. You've got no quarterback on the roster. You've got to prove Sean Payton, hey, I want to go get a guy that emulates what I worked with Drew Brees. I want him to come in. You got rid of Russell Wilson, so you got a lot of pressure on you to come to figure out that quarterback to be your franchise quarterback. But this is why we love sports betting. This is why we love sports books, because there are odds for individual players on what team they will be selected to. Let's start out with Bo Nix. The odds-on favorite right now, -175, the Denver Broncos, followed by the Vikings at +425, and the Raiders at +500. How about Michael Penix Jr.? You want to react to that?
I just want to say real quickly to set, that would be the Broncos at 12, the Raiders are at 13, and what was the third team? I'm sorry, the Vikings at number 11. So it's right in that range is where they expect him to go, assuming no trades.
Caleb Williams, this is funny, -10,000. You want to place $10,000 down for $100? Go right ahead. How about Mr. J.J. McCarthy? What are his odds right now? Vikings at +125, which tells me that the teams, the sportsbooks think that the Vikings will trade up, followed by the Patriots at +250, Giants +320. Your thoughts?
Giants are sitting at number 6, and the chances of J.J., and we talked about this, the chances of J.J. McCarthy being there at number 6, I think, are very, very slim. You look at Caleb Williams, you look at Jaden Daniels, you look at Drake May, and then you got a couple of receivers that people are talking about. Again, as we just talked about Marvin Harrison Jr., you've got Malik Neighbors in that conversation. Is J.J. McCarthy still on the board at number 6? And if you're the Giants and you want this kid, do you have to pull the trigger and jump just in case Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors are not drafted and somebody slides in ahead of you and grabs J.J. McCarthy?
And J.J. McCarthy's odds with the Broncos +650, something to note there. Jaden Daniels, the odds-on favorite for him are the Commanders at number 2, -165, Patriots +160. And that third team, I think just based on their history with Antonio Pierce, the Raiders +650, a team that, Antonio Pierce has said publicly that he's intrigued by Jaden Daniels, and I don't know if they're going to be afraid to trade up there. It might be a high pick, though, because I think they pick at, 13, being the Raiders?
The Raiders are at number 13 this year, absolutely. And Antonio Pierce has some history with Jaden Daniels, so, they know each other. You take his comments akin to whatever Jim Harbaugh says about J.J. McCarthy. They've played together. not played together, but been in at ASU and Michigan respectively. So yeah, you've got to consider that. I think the Raiders, maybe Mark Davis finally lets his hair down, lets his bowl haircut down, and lets it fly a little bit for the Raiders, because you talk about a suffering fan base. Bounce from Oakland to LA, and now they're in Vegas, but frankly, the results have been more or less the same. So you've got a new coach, and let's roll the dice a little bit if you're the Raiders and see what you can see shake out. Just fascinating to me. And Jax, you look at the ascent of Jaden Daniels and JJ McCarthy. Like if we're having this conversation at kickoff in August of college football season, and I tell you that when we're talking in April, Jax, that Jaden Daniels and JJ McCarthy will both be top 5 picks in the NFL draft, you would have laughed me off this chair.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Did you look at how the ascension? So, look, credit to them, and they both their performance this year, but it also shows the risk if you're an NFL general manager of, is that JJ McCarthy ascension real? Is the Jaden Daniels ascension real? Like, what caused it, and is it going to continue? Can I parlay that with my National Football League team? Because that guys lose jobs over this, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of money. We anticipated coming in to this draft last year that it was going to be Caleb Williams and then Drake May at 2. Drake May has kind of a down year; they don't have a lot of success, and now Jaden Daniels comes into the mix. Lastly, the last quarterback we've been talking about, Michael Penix Jr., to be selected by which team in the 2024 NFL Draft. The Raiders are odds-on favorite for him at plus 260, Vikings plus 350, and the Seattle Seahawks plus 450, which is interesting. You look at the Seahawks, the Washington connection, his offensive coordinator in college, Ryan Grubb, is the offensive coordinator there for the Seahawks. The Seahawks, I believe, pick around that 20-25 range. I think for Michael Penix, if he doesn't get picked past 13, I could definitely see him as a Seahawks team, or maybe in the Vikings uses 23 to be one of those teams selected for Mr. Michael Penix.
The Seahawks pick at number 16 this year in the draft. And one more thing to look before we go to break, Jackson. I didn't even tell you I was going to do this, so I'm sorry to put you on the spot. But if you're a team in the National Football League and you need defensive help, you feel comfortable with your quarterback, you feel comfortable with what you've got on the offensive side of the ball, but you come into this thing really needing defensive help. Got to shore up that defense. Who is the top defensive player off the draft, and what's the numbers looking like that? Names you're seeing, like a guy like Dallas Turner, or maybe the first quarterback, Kenyon Mitchell from Toledo, of all places. Who's the top defensive player coming off? What's the numbers on that?
Yeah, so the sportsbooks have Dallas Turner, like you mentioned, minus 110 as the favorite to be the first defensive player selected, followed by Latu at plus 260, Jared Verse plus 400, and Quinyon Mitchell at Toledo plus 1,000. So the sportsbooks think that Dallas Turner, and which I think, unless the Falcons trade out of 8, he'll fall into their lap. I think that's kind of the last position that they need as an edge rusher for the Falcons.
Well, and that's the key. Like if you're the Falcons and you're doing the calculus in your head, can you slide back a little bit and maybe get the guy you want anyways?
I think you could slide. You could slide with the Vikings. I think you'd still be there at 11 if they wanted to.
That to me is fascinating. That you could look at this draft and not see a player on the defensive side of the ball come off the board till at least 8, and maybe, depending on what the Falcons do, later than that. Fascinating.
And then one of the best athletes, if you were to have a big board of the best athletes, the best players in this draft, Marvin Harrison Jr. would be one, but a guy that no one's talking about that might be the steal of the draft if he slips outside the top 10, maybe even at 10, I think is Brock Bowers. Because before the season even started, before, I guess, the offseason started, we all thought the Chargers at 5 made a lot of sense. They get rid of their 2 wide receivers, meaning Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, and you think, okay, maybe a Brock Bowers tight end would be there at 5 still. And then it comes out that, Jim Harbaugh likes offensive linemen, no wide receiver help, their number 1 being Quinyon Johnson. Now you're starting to look at maybe Malik Neighbors or Joe Alt at number 5, a team like who's the odds-on favorite right now for Brock Bowers, the Jets at plus 140, Colts at plus 370. Those are steals for both those teams, and Brock Bowers, who can open up your offense across the middle and kind of emulates a guy like Travis Kelce.
And you look at how the NFL has kind of changed over the years and the de-emphasis on the running back position, and the emphasis or not even like the that to see a guy like Brock Bowers there, that that could be a difference maker.
And you brought it up a couple weeks ago. All this guy has done, Brock Bowers, in high school and college is just win and be successful. He can do the same in the NFL.
He's Jackson Groff. I'm Mike Gross. We step aside here. More Fox Sports 910.
Take the points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
Coming up Monday at 1 on Rock Minuti, Jimmy B, live from the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. We'll recap the Suns' weekend, and will they have played their way in or out of the play-in tournament? That's Monday at 1 on Rock Minuti, Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910 and on the free iHeartRadio app.
A homeowner just like you decides to fix his roof.
Okay.
He backs up his truck, ties one end of the rope to the bumper and the other to himself.
Smart.
He's working on the backside of the roof until...
What? Wait, no.
Yes, Dad was in tow.
Ooh, was he hurt?
A few bruises and his pride.
Save yourself with State 48 Roofing, offering maintenance, repairs, and replacements. Of course, licensed, insured, and bonded. From residential to commercial. State48roofing.com.
It's a spring. Need G2G protein bars. Grab and go fuel for the office, links, and daily grind. Score an 8-pack at Costco or explore flavors at G2GBar.com. Quick, delicious, power-packed G2G protein bars. Setting your pace.
Get ready for double the fun on the 101. Introducing the Salt River Rewards Program at Casino, Arizona and Talking Stick Resort, the Valley's newest and best. With multiple tiers and endless benefits, we've got something for everyone. Don't miss out on the excitement. Salt River Rewards, the Valley's premier player rewards program, now at Casino, Arizona and Talking Stick Resort. 2 properties, 1 amazing club, offering limitless fun on the 101. Discover the best in the Valley at saltriverrewards.com.
Looking for a change in your career? All City Towing is searching for motivated teammates to join their team. Current openings now available in customer service, tow truck operators, yard management, facilities maintenance, and dispatch. Apply online at allcitytowing.com/careers or call 480-833-7278.
When it comes to men getting a vasectomy, you want to ensure you go to the experts. So call Purely Vasectomies. Purely Vasectomies. They're easy, comfortable, and convenient. They have single appointment options with a same-day consultation and vasectomy. Plus, there are 3 Valley locations. Their experienced specialists take the time to answer all your questions. They offer sedation to keep you comfortable, and most men can return to work next day. Call Purely Vasectomies at 844-NO-SPERM.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. At BKD's, we're the destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the Valley. Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, BKD's Backyard Joint, where every day is game day.
Arizona's headquarters for Toyotas is Wright Toyota. Hey, Rock, for my friends at Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. You will always find the right deal at Wright Toyota. Wright Toyota has been driving Arizona's home for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selections. I encourage you to discover the difference at Wright Toyota. Make the right choice, Wright Toyota, just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, and always online at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check out WrightToyota.com.
What's up, guys? Jason Payne, owner of State 48 Roofing. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook, #SexyRoofStatus. All of our work using state-of-the-art materials and 5-star workmanship. Our inspections are free. You heard me? Free. Go to state48roofing.com to schedule your free appointment today.
Our Chandler police benefit from serving a supportive community. That strong partnership equips our police with the support, training, and technology needed to keep our city and employees safe. Our sunny skies and active lifestyle offer personal and family time for the desired work-life balance. Find your fit with the Chandler Police Department. Learn more at jointeamchandler.com. This message is sponsored by the City of Chandler.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you to explore right now, like Alt 2K.
Don't wanna be an American.
A commercial-free look back to alternative from the 2000s. With Foo Fighters, Weezer, Linkin Park, Green Day, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and more. Just open the free iHeartRadio app, search Alt 2K, and listen now. iHeartRadio, free never sounded so good.
iHeartRadio.
Back to Take the Points, powered by the Sportsbook at
Your life
Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
Scotty Scheffler has increased his lead. He is now 8 under par for the tournament. 2 shots in front of Bryson DeChambeau, Max Homa, and Colin Morikawa.
Bless you.
Thank you. Scotty Scheffler today, birdie, par, birdie, first 3 holes, Jackson.
Yeah, it's a great start. Those first 3 holes, I mean, the first one especially, not a hole in hole 1 to be birdied a lot. I know Tiger Woods did it his first day. Scotty Scheffler in his first 2 rounds only birdied 2 twice and did not birdie 1 and 3. So definitely the confidence is up. He's on hole 4 right now, about to tee off on the par 3. But a guy that's kind of having a hot day so far is Colin Morikawa.
Yeah.
You talk about before the day, plus 2,200 to win it all. He's 3 under through 4 holes. Heading into number 5, we're starting to get into some of these par 5s where, you know, some of the guys start to take some strokes and get some of those birdies. It looks like the wind has died down. I know some of the guys like Max Homa yesterday was thrilled to be inside after such a long day playing 23 holes, waking up early, having a late round 1, and to have those gusts of winds yesterday and a bunch of wind burn for those guys has got to be feeling good for today, not having that much wind.
Just what you said about Morikawa, birdie, par, 3 birdies and a par to start the day for him as he's played himself into second position.
And then Tiger Woods, sad day for him, plus 6 through 10, just not finding the green. He's had 2 double bogeys, 2 bogeys, and a birdie on that front 9, just par 10. So hopefully things can go up for him. But the fact that he made the cut, I think is good enough for fans and from Tiger Woods' standpoint.
Yeah, his back has got to be giving him trouble.
I wouldn't be surprised if he withdrew probably after today, just for his health reasons.
I get it. I hope he doesn't, but I get it.
Would he still get prizes? Would he still get some of the pot, though, if he withdrew, even though he made the cut? That's something.
I don't know the answer to that.
Tweet us at Fox 910 Saturday if you know the answer to that one.
All right. Real quickly, let's, before we talk Cardinals in our next segment, our Twitter poll question, I still call it Twitter, our poll question on X, we gave it out a little while ago. Still an opportunity to vote at Fox 910 Saturday. Did Zach Edey's performance in Monday's championship game help or hurt his NBA status? And let's be clear about what his NBA status is, Jackson, before we answer the question. This is not a guy that we were saying was going to be the top pick in the NBA draft. That was not at all the suggestion. But he had the tournament and the stage to himself on Monday night and played well. You look at why Purdue lost. It wasn't Zach Edey. But I was struck watching that game, especially after he got off to that hot start and UConn started to figure it out, where he got frustrated. He was missing short shots, throwing that shoulder a lot, trying to create space, which might work in the college game, but he's not going to do that in the NBA to any great success, I don't believe. And so, we talked about it early in the show. Here's a guy, you talk about his draft status, that is mid-first round on down. So this is not somebody, did he play himself out of first round or the number 1 pick? That's not the case. I said, I think he hurt it a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, I did. I'm just looking at watching him play in that game. How does that game translate to the next level? And you were there, you saw it firsthand, so I might be off base here. But again, that move where he got the ball in the paint and, the first move was to throw the shoulder. Again, you can do that in the college game. He won't be able to do that in the NBA. That drop the step, drop that foot, and throw the shoulder. You can't do that.
I mean, I disagree personally, because I think in the league where it's starting to become positionless, where you're starting to see guys, centers, shoot threes, maybe smaller lineups. Now, I don't think lineups will be that small when they go up against him, but I think people kind of see the same thing for guys like Wembanyama. His game would not translate early in the NBA. He kind of struggled, and now towards the stretch last night, big upset win against the Nuggets. I think you kind of see that with Zach Edey. I think what Zach Edey's going to bring is you're going to start to see guys like Jonas Valanciunas get more minutes, guys like Miles Plumlee, guys like the Lopez brothers to kind of guard one Zach Edey, and he's going to be a problem in the middle regardless. He's 7'4". He's a big body. Now, I think it's going to be interesting to see how the NBA referees officiate against him, like in college. Will they call more fouls on him? Will fouls be called against him, I guess, in the NBA? We'll have to see on that, and especially in Summer League when he starts that. But I think his game will translate just fine. I think his minutes will probably reduce. His role will be reduced, and I think you'll see a lot out of Zach Edey where he won't have to play 40 minutes in an NBA game. He'll get reduced minutes, and I think his game will translate fine. I think he'll be a late first-round, early second-round pick.
And you said that when we were talking about it earlier, that the perfect spot for Zach Edey would be a team like Milwaukee, where you can go behind and establish big and learn the game, number one, and not be counted on to save. Because let's face it, if you're getting picked, if you're the Detroit Pistons right now, you need that savior. You need to know who it is that's coming through the door that's going to get you out of the doldrums you've been in for the last several years. And Zach Edey's not that guy. The other thing, too, that I worry about based on what you said, the way the game is changing a little bit, Zach Edey doesn't have the range that some of those other bigs that you were talking about. Like, he's not a guy that's going to step out and knock down that three and not allow teams to cheat on him, because I don't believe he has that range. He made one three-pointer this year, right? And that's the college line. So, and
he doesn't need to either, because that's not his game.
To step out, like, what is that range for him, right? If you're talking about you're not playing with your back to the basket and you create your own shot that way. Look, he's going to have a nice career. Don't get me wrong. We mentioned the Lopez brothers. If he can parse together a career like that, you're doing all right, right? So it wasn't meant to be. A criticism or critical or anything like that. But it's just, what's the upside here? If you are a team that needs help, where's that line? If you're in the top 10, no, you're not drafting Zach Edey. But like you said, if you're the Bucks, maybe that's the spot for him.
Yeah, and a playoff team, maybe even the Phoenix Suns. Who knows? Maybe they want some more rebounding help down low, and they get him and Nurkic. That'd be kind of a funny duo there.
There you go. All right, we'll step aside here, and on the side, we talk NFL draft. We'll do a deep dive into that. Coming up next on Fox Sports 910.
Take the point.
Clear.
Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
Hey, it's Dom with Venezia's Pizzeria. You know us for delicious family dinners and huge party pizzas. But did you know we are great at feeding a large group too? Our full catering menu has a ton of variety, so everyone will find something they love. And the best part? We don't charge per head. Just tell us how many people you need to feed, and we'll handle the rest. Check out our catering menu at Venezias.com. That's Venezias.com. Venezias, a family and catering tradition.
Any car dealer in Arizona can compete on price. That's what dealers do. But not many dealers can compete on customer satisfaction. Like Wright Toyota. Make the right choice. Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. Just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard. And online at WrightToyota.com.
There's something that binds us all. The constant hunger to improve. The obsession with every detail. And the reward of a custom fitting, taking your game to a whole new level. We're all bound by two words, said by golfers worldwide. Schedule your fitting at Vans Golf Shops. Find your local store at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fighting.
Whether you're looking for a baby awning over a breakfast nook, a shade sail or structure in your home or business, a retractable awning for your patio, or roll curtains for your screen room, the House of Canvas and Fine Wrought Iron has what you need. Beat the heat this summer and get covered by Arizona's #1 rated shade experts. Visit thehouseofcanvas.com. House of Canvas, family owned and making shady deals in the Valley for over 40 years. That's thehouseofcanvas.com.
If you haven't tried G2G protein bars, today is the day. Find them in your local Costco's refrigerated section or online at G2GBar.com. Incredible taste and packed with protein. They are perfect for your on-the-go lifestyle. Check them out today.
When it comes to men getting a vasectomy, you want to ensure you go to the experts. So call Purely Vasectomies. Purely Vasectomies. They're easy, comfortable, and convenient. They have single appointment options with a same-day consultation and vasectomy.
Alex is ready.
Plus, there are 3 Valley locations. Their experienced specialists take the time to answer all your questions. They offer sedation to keep you comfortable, and most men can return to work next day. Call Purely Vasectomies at 844-NO-SPERM.
Do you ever have a case of the Mondays? You won't if you tune in to Rockin' Minoosh with Jimmy B from 1 till 4 as they broadcast live from the CAZ Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar. That's every Monday from Casino, Arizona.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every basket, every game, every point, every play. From the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar. Whether it's a three-pointer at the buzzer to tie the game or a player goes 2 for 2 at the foul line. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 Plus only must be physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 533-422.
Year after year, Lerner Rowe is voted best personal injury law firm in Arizona. You may wonder why. The answer is quite simple. Lerner Rowe is so popular because we give every client excellent service and a superior experience. But also the main reason is results. We've recovered billions of dollars for our clients with over $1 billion collected in the last 5 years alone. Our phone lines are always open and our legal team is standing by right now, waiting for your call.
Lerner Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900. Back to Take the Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
Welcome back in, Mike Gross, Jackson Groff. We're out at the CAZ Sportsbook at Casino, Arizona. And this month, college basketball's done, regular season in the NHL and the NBA done. And that means, Jackson, that the NFL draft is on the horizon. And to help us break this down, help us understand what might happen here locally with the Redbirds, friend of the program, guy we've had on a lot before. Find him on Twitter at Clancy's Corner. It's Alex Clancy. Alex, it's Mike and Jackson. How are you today?
Good. How's it going, boys?
Good, good, good. We appreciate you making time for us. And look, it's a business, and Monty Ossenfort doesn't care, but lots of hand-wringing amongst the Cardinal faithful out there, right? You're looking at this. You're sitting at number 4. You don't need a quarterback. You're in the catbird seat. Draft Marvin Harrison Jr. Get on with it. But I don't think it's quite that simple, is it, Alex?
No, it's not. And my brain is in full melt mode over the last handful of weeks trying to decipher what is the right move for the future of the organization. I mean, I think regarding the fans specifically, I think the natural human way to look at this is they passed on Patrick Peterson, they passed on Terrell Suggs, and those guys became Hall of Famers. They can't do it again. And that's not exactly the rational way to look at this specific situation, even though it'd be awesome to have Marvin Harrison Jr. wearing Cardinals red on Sunday.
Oof. Yeah.
That would be tremendous to watch. Where do you sit at? There's big speculation right now. Broncos and Vikings being teams that could trade up with the Cardinals. If you're the GM, Alex, what is the accepting price that you would be okay with for the Arizona Cardinals trading out of 4?
3 first-round picks, and I think it's the Minnesota 3 first-round picks and not Denver's, where you get one in the next 3 seasons. Because the Cardinals have, they need everything aside from quarterback and tight end. They need everything. And probably, even though the wide receiver room looks barren at this point, that's probably the 4th most dire need they have aside from, interior defensive line, pass rush, and corner. So 3 first rounds would be opening the door, and then it just depends on if Monty Ossenfort wants to go that route or take who's set to be the best player regardless of position in this draft and just sit it for it. It's a tough decision, but yeah, 3 first rounders to get the door open, I would assume.
Are you interested, in general, in a player coming back as part of this? You heard Patrick Surtain's name recently, and again, you got to take some of this stuff with a grain of salt, but it's good fodder for what we do here. Are you interested in a player, or is it picks only if you're the Cardinals moving out of that number 4 spot?
I think it's picks only. Predominantly because Monty Ossenfort wants to build through the draft. And Patrick Surtain's got, 1 year left on his rookie deal, maybe 2. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe 2. He's going to want $35 million a year. And that's something that we've experienced in Phoenix under Steve Keim, where it's like, oh, just get the player, figure it out later. That's not how you build sustained and, perpetual relevancy within an organization, especially when you're building from the ground up like the Cardinals are. So I think this is a massive shift into having Arizona Cardinals on this roster. Like what I've said for a long time is the Cardinals don't have a lot of Arizona Cardinals on the roster.
Right.
It's been such a transplant team where it's just bringing in veterans from other teams. It's hard to build a culture that way. Monty Ossenfort has the ability to do a hard reset. He has. And I think drafting players and watching them develop and grow and rebuild this culture again is more important than getting a corner you're going to have to pay $35 million in 2 years.
A lot of speculation at pick 4, Alex. There's also a lot of speculation and not a lot of talk about Cardinals picking at 27. You do a great job, Locked On Cardinals on YouTube, diving down, each avenue. Who are some prospects that you've liked or maybe in position groups at that number 27 spot that you'd like to see the Cardinals attack?
Yeah, here's the thing. Arguably the best interior defensive lineman in the draft, Johnny Newton out of Illinois. He's not a household name. And he's also most likely not going to be there at 27. So if you love to do your mock drafts and he drops, you're like, yeah, that's awesome. And chances are he's going to go a lot higher than that. Graham Barton, interior offensive lineman who plays left guard, who plays in center out of Duke. I think it'd be a plug-and-play guy to show up the left side of the offensive line that we all know was atrocious for the large portion of last season, namely the guard spot. And then, the weird part is, because they need everything, it depends on what Monty Osborne wants to do. Do you want to take best player available, or do you want to take absolute need? Because you can take Cooley McKinstry there. Nate Wiggins may drop out of Georgia, but or Clemson, sorry. But when it comes down to it, it's got to be best player available at a position of need. And luckily, the Cardinals have a lot of those.
We're talking to Alex Clancy, Arizona Cardinals, preparing for the 2024 draft coming up at the end of this month in Detroit. Cardinals have 11 total picks in this draft, Alex, including the 4 that we've been talking about, the number 27 in the first round. Two-part question. That's a huge number to work with if you're the general manager. And B, and I think, and you mentioned Steve Keim a moment ago. We washed that guy out of the conversation here maybe at the end of this draft, but Monty Ossenfort, he was pretty clear when he came in. This is going to take a minute for me to kind of clean this up and get it on the right track. But to have 11 picks as part of that rebuild, 6 slots in the first 100, if you're a Cardinals fan, you've got to feel pretty good about the guy at the helm of this right now after what we went through for the Steve Keim regime.
The old adage, if he or if she wanted to, she would. Monty Osborne wanted to, and Steve Keim didn't. All you had to do was 1 year of just brush everything off. Weirdly enough, Kyler Murray's injury couldn't have come at a better time. Obviously, you never want anybody to get injured, but forced the hand for this to happen. There was probably 5 years, on the back burner. Mm-hmm. And 96, I think. One thing that I've kind of been massaging the brain for people to think about is they're going to have more money than they know what to do with next offseason. They have their full slate of picks for the most part next offseason. If Monty Osborne wanted to maximize this super deep draft, especially in the top, 75 picks or so, using future capital with what they have now to package deals to maybe move up from 27, to move up from their 3 third-round picks into the second round again. He has so much ammo and so many tools in his tool set to be able to maximize this draft, where you don't really need to get younger after this year. Then you need to add veteran talent, which we'll do through free agency next year. They can maximize all the picks they have next year. Also, I'm assuming they'll keep their top ones, but they've got plenty to work with to maximize this draft on top of the 11 picks they already have.
Alex, it's been a while since we had you on, and free agency happened. It feels like it happened like a year ago when the Cardinals signed all these free agents. Last year, the MO was get the 1-year guys with a lot of veteran experience. This year, it seems like the 3-year deals with a lot of guys that have played a lot of football. What are some signings that you like from the Arizona Cardinals? Is this kind of a step forward from last year's free agency class?
Yeah, Jonah Williams was the big one. That was like, ooh, Monty, you rascal. Because first of all, he wanted to play with Kyler. He's wanted to play with Kyler. And the fact that he can play swing tackle with Paris Johnson Jr., there are reports for both of where they're going to play. Let's just chill and just see what happens. Let's at least get to training camp first. But that was massive, number one. I think both of the interior defensive lineman guys, Justin Jones and Bilal Nichols, while they're not, world beaters, they're both really good locker room guys. Justin Jones was beloved in Chicago by everybody. And this is what free agency is supposed to be. It's a terrible example, but it's like, this is the shrubbery around the roses that are going to be the young star players on this roster. Guys that can mentor, guys that can be rotational pieces, and guys that are better than what the Cardinals had last year, especially in the interior defensive line, which isn't difficult. And then Sean Murphy-Bunting also. He's won a Super Bowl. He's only been in the league a couple years. I think he's going to make a massive impact. He's already the best corner they have on the team. So that's how bad this roster was. So I think free agency was great. And then DJ Dallas' interview was like, I wanted to be here forever, man. Like, hearing that about the Arizona Cardinals is not really something that we've been used to over the last handful of years.
Going back to the drafts, Alex, I mean, you, me, and Mike Gross all are NFL draft geeks. Looking back from last year, Michael Wilson, Garrett Williams, those third-round gems. Who are some guys that you're looking at as second, third-round gems that the Cardinals could grab? Maybe some names fans are familiar with, but could play a big role in this year's season.
Yeah, it's funny. So I've been trying to tweak mock drafts and do things a little bit differently. Like, so they've got 3 obviously in the third round. There's a name, I believe he plays at Texas A&M, Edgerrin Cooper. Okay, best player available is very important, regardless of position in the third round. And he's an off-ball linebacker. I know everybody groans at that, but if they bring in Mac Wilson and move him to the edge from New England last year, where he spent half his time, and you have Kazir White and the best off-ball linebacker maybe in the draft in the third round, Edgerrin Cooper is a name to watch out for. And then listen, that's a running back area if they want to draft a running back. Bucky Irving is skyrocketing up dynasty draft charts. I know Blake Corum's like the big name. Trey Benson is going to be there. Like that would be a perfect sweet spot to draft a running back where you're not spending a lot of money. And James Conner is going to need to have maybe 15% less carries next year if you want to keep him throughout the year, especially with playing meaningful games. So I'm looking at running back. And then Edgerrin Cooper is a name to watch if they do want to just shore up the middle of the defense and move Mac Wilson on the edge.
He's Alex Clancy. The follow him on Locked on AZ Cards. Good information there. Draft right around the corner. Alex, thanks so much for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Alex Clancy sharing the knowledge and
great discussion.
Think, man.
That's what I wanted to ask him, because I know you, me, and him, and Mike Bauer is too, but we're all about the NFL draft, and we're geeked up about it. Edgerrin Cooper is a guy that I was familiar with a couple of weeks ago from A&M. He's a stud defensive tackle, but a lot of needs for the Arizona Cardinals. What a more fitting year to have 11 draft picks, and especially with needs with wide receiver, tackle, defensive line, cornerback, where all those positions are pretty deep. And I like his pick on the running back there. What you saw from Wilson last year, Michael Carter last year, from the Jets, I liked him as that too, but to get a number 3 like Bucky Irving or Trey Benson would be interesting.
Yeah, and interesting when I asked him, are you interested in players coming back as part of any of these deals you're hearing about? He's like,
he said no.
Yeah, not so much.
I mean, it is interesting. You made a good point earlier about Surtain, about, yes, he's a great corner and one of the best corners in the league, but he's not, there's no confirmation that he's going to stay another year being on his last year of his deal.
It's technically 2 years, but 1 year left at that rookie number of just over $1 million on a base salary next year. And then there is a 5th-year option that takes it from $1 million a year to 19, and then all bets are off. Then all bets are off, and you can't spend a first-round pick for a guy that's there for 2 years. You just can't. So if that's a big if, Monty's interested in doing that, you got to make sure that you talk to him and his representation before you pull the trigger. Can we get a deal done? If the answer is no or maybe, you don't do it.
Gosh, I wish the NFL draft was next weekend. This is going to be insane. We've got 2 weekends next weekend to talk about it, and then the Saturday after we'll react. It'll be going on with the 4 through 7, but we'll react on that Saturday on what the Cardinals did for Thursday and Friday.
Here's Jackson Groff. I'm Mike Gross. We step aside here on the other side. We make our picks of the week. Coming up next on Fox Sports 910.
Take the Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app. Time to win some bonus bucks. Listen for your chance to win $1,000. Dollar bills yelp when you hear the keyword at the top of the hour. Weekdays from 9 to 5. Enter it at foxsports910.com to win. Sponsored by Lerner & Rowe Injury Attorney.
Hey, Arizona, it's your local accident attorney, Kevin Rowe from Lerner & Rowe, where there are no fees until we win your case. Speaking of win, we want to help you bank $1,000, powered by Lerner & Rowe Injury Attorneys. Interact, need a check? Call Lerner & Rowe today, 977-1900.
Rock for WrightToyota.com. At Wright Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all of their innovative web tools on WrightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at righttoyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at righttoyota.com.
Hey, this is Kelly Cooper. Are you ready for the ultimate sports experience? Look no further than BKD's Backyard Joint. At BKD's, we're the destination for the best food, drinks, and sports experience in the Valley. Located at the corner of Pecos and McQueen and Chandler, BKD's Backyard Joint, where every day is game day.
Whether you're looking for a bay window awning over a breakfast nook, a shade sail or structure in your home or business, a retractable awning for your patio, or roll curtains for your screen room, the House of Canvas and Fine Wrought Iron has what you need. Beat the heat this summer and get covered by Arizona's #1 rated shade experts. Visit thehouseofcanvas.com. House of Canvas, family owned and making shady deals in the Valley for over 40 years. That's thehouseofcanvas.com.
Arizona's largest locally owned A-plus BBB rated towing company is All City Towing. They're always looking to add motivated and competitive team members. Do you fit the bill? If so, head on over to allcitytowing.com/careers for more information.
Year after year, Lerner Rowe is voted best personal injury law firm in Arizona. You may wonder why. The answer is quite simple. Lerner Rowe is so popular because we give every client excellent service and a superior experience. But also the main reason is results. We've recovered billions of dollars for our clients with over $1 billion collected in the last 5 years alone. Our phone lines are always open and our legal team is standing by right now, waiting for your call.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900. Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Get ready for double the fun on the 101. Introducing the Salt River Rewards Program at Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort, the Valley's newest and best. With multiple tiers and endless benefits, we've got something for everyone. Don't miss out on the excitement. Salt River Rewards, the Valley's premier player rewards program, now at Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort. 2 properties, 1 amazing club, offering limitless fun on the 101. Discover the best in the Valley at saltriverrewards.com.
Enter for a chance to win G2G protein bars for an entire year. Text G2G to 59925. You'll receive a confirmation text. Standard message and data rates apply. Text G2G to 59925. G2G protein bars. Fresh, healthy, and delicious.
I do not. I didn't do my homework.
What's up, guys? Jason Payne, owner of State 48 Roofing. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook. Hashtag sexy roof status at State 48 Roofing.
Thank you. Not today.
Born and raised in Arizona. We'd love to give back to our schools and community. Contact us at state48roofing.com.
Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join our growing team at Progressive Insurance. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
If spring allergies keep you trapped inside, then you need Navage Nasal Care to keep you breathing clearly and enjoying all the beauties of spring. Navage helps clear nasal passages that are often clogged because of seasonal allergies. Navage gently flushes a pure, refreshing saline solution through your nasal passages to clear out congestion, sucking out that springtime pollen and other irritants trapped in your nose. Navage is available online at navage.com or in stores at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, and Target. Navage, Navage.
Time for the best bets, locks, and daily wager picks, courtesy of the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. Now joining the guys is CAZ Sportsbook expert Casey Walsh. From Boston. Exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
Casey's a little busy right now.
I think Jack's got the day off, so Casey's back there running the joint.
Yeah, he's a little busy right now, but his open is always the greatest open in all of radio.
All right, Jackson, we're running short on time here, so in order not to upset Jasmine back there, let's jump into our picks so we can get them in and have a little conversation around it.
Yeah, we're going 2 NBA picks, folks, and we're going to go with the Masters winner heading into round 3, or as of right now, since round 3 is going on. Let's start Suns at T-Wolves. T-Wolves are minus 4.5. The over-under total is 217.5. Gross, who do you like?
I like the Suns.
To cover or to win?
I take Suns minus 4.5.
Plus 4.5?
My bad. I read it backwards. Yes, give me those points. I look. I think they're playing well down the stretch here. Timberwolves, look, they are where they are, right? They're not going to change their lot very much. So give me the Suns. The Suns, and the 4.5 helps me make that pick.
So I agree with you. I think Suns plus 4.5. I think what I saw last night, I saw a lot of fight. I saw a lot of need, want. They can get things going offensively, which has been a struggle, which is crazy to even say that out of my mouth. I think they got this over the T-Wolves, a game that means more to them than the T-Wolves. I like them. And then what could potentially be a series. We could see them play later next week, being the Suns and T-Wolves. Bauer likes the T-Wolves on that one. Let's go to the Lakers at Pelicans, another meaningful game for the Suns. Seeing the Pelicans to lose. Home game, 3.5-point favorite being the Pelicans. The over-unders at 228. Gross.
And that's the bad news for the Suns, is they need the Pelicans to lose. I don't think they do. Those games will be going on together, so you won't be able to judge what you want to do had that game been earlier or your game been later. So I like the Pelicans to beat the Lakers tomorrow. Minus 3.5. That's not a problem.
Me too. Zion's healthy. Ingram's but I don't think he played last night or the other night. I like the Pelicans too to cover at home. I think the Lakers are dealing with some injuries too.
And we saw this years ago when the Suns played the Pelicans in the opening round. I really like Willie Green as a head coach, and I think he's got this team playing well down the stretch. And credit to him if they end up winning this game and getting out of that play-in.
Bauer likes the under on that one. Let's get to our Masters winner, and right now the odds for the Masters, for those hopefully not driving around and on your phone, I will give you the current odds favors for the Masters. Scheffler, Scotty Scheffler at plus 115. Morikawa goes into the second slot at plus 550. Homa plus 650. And Bryson DeChambeau at plus 800. I think we're all in agreement on this one, so I'll give it to you, Mike Gross. Who are we all picking to win the Masters?
We are all picking the current leader, Scotty Scheffler. He dropped a stroke. He is now -7, one clear of Max Homa right now, as he's played through 5 holes today at Augusta National.
Yeah, I think Scotty's putting has been the greatest thing. It's so crazy to me how he changes his putter after people have been saying how many more tournaments would he win if his putting stroke was better, and he got a putting coach, and he goes out and wins at Bay Hill, wins the Players' Championship, comes second, not the Valero, but the one before that, and then now is in the driver's seat there at the Masters.
That putt you showed me earlier, I forget if it was on the first or the third
first hole. Or second hole. First hole he chipped in.
That putt was crazy. That's 4-putt territory for me.
Third hole, excuse me.
That was 4-putt territory.
40 feet on the Augusta greens, which I think are rolling 13-14 right now. Scotty Scheffler in prize position of what's going on. So
it's not very exciting. We're all on Scotty Scheffler, but to be fair, we're all on Scotty Scheffler before this thing started.
100%. We had him at plus 450.
There we go.
All right, let's get into our locks. Mike,
it's time for Take the Points to give you their locks for the weekend. Live from the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. Okay, gambling degenerates, what are your locks? By the way, you better be gambling responsibly.
UFC 300 is tonight for all my MMA fans out there. You've got a lot of good fights, a lot of former title winners that are playing tonight, trying to get back in position. I like Justin Gaethje, I think I said his name right, Gaethje, to win tonight against Max Holloway, -162. That is my luck. I was also Oliveira, but he's highly the underdog tonight against Arman Tarskaronian. So many different Brazilians and other nationalities represented tonight, but I like in UFC 300 Gaethje to win.
And I was hoping that you, before we gave our picks, that you would tell what our locks records are for the year.
Oh, well, you're 19-8, which is a great record for locks. Bauer's 15-9, and I'm 15-12.
All right, so for me, my lock is back to the NHL. I think I did the college basketball championship a week ago. I basically high picks, but whatever. You do your research, you get your information. This is purely on me. This is my thought. I got an NHL goal parlay, and I like William Nylander. The Maple Leafs host the Red Wings today. And then I like Zach Hyman, Vancouver at Edmonton, to both score goals. So this is an anytime goal parlay. Zach Hyman, William Nylander. That will pay you plus 440 if that cashes.
Whoa.
So Nylander, Hyman, anytime goal parlay. Take it to the bank, Jackson.
And Bauer's got the D-backs to win tomorrow. Zach Gallen on the mount. thinks that the D-backs can come out of a little of a slump right now. They're on 500 baseball. Is that a concern, Mike Gross, early in the season? I know you're going to say no because it's 162 games.
It's not. It is not a huge concern, but here's my thing. They have one win against teams not named the Colorado Rockies. They're 6-8 right now. So obviously in a 162-game season, there is a ton of baseball left to be played. But you look at it, they beat the Yankees in one of the games in that series, downtown Phoenix earlier this season. Other than that, the only wins for this Arizona Cardinals, Arizona Diamondbacks team, got the draft on the brain, are against the Colorado Rockies. They won 3 of 4 to open the season, and then down here in Phoenix and then up in Denver, they took 2 of 3. So other than that, got to win some games against somebody not named the Colorado Rockies.
We got the Masters this weekend, Mike Gross. Yes. Bryson DeChambeau just missed a birdie putt. That's what's going to come down if you want to get some strokes against one Scotty Scheffler in the lead is putting.
Don't forget Rockin' Minuch with Jimmy B Monday through Friday, 1 to 4 p.m. right here on the station and out here at CAZ Sportsbook every Monday. Come on out and see the guys. They'll break down the Masters, give you their reaction on that. And thanks to everybody out here at the CAZ Sportsbook. Love coming out here on Saturdays. Come out and see them. We're leaving. They're going to be here all night long. Great food, great drink special, CAZ Sportsbook. Great job by Jasmine back in the studio. For Jackson Groff, for Mike Bauer, I'm Mike Gross. We'll see you next Saturday, 11 a.m. right here.